welcome to a brand new episode of Smile with Prachi. This is Prachi. Now, before we start with today's writers and today's letters, here's something really interesting that I want to share with you all. And I would also love for you all to come back and share your own stories on this topic, okay? Now, we often talk about breaking the societal expectations, going your own way. I think, especially in a country like ours, right, where the fear of what will the world say, what will people say, dominates so many lives. People who don't want to get married, they are forced into arranged marriages even today. And I'm talking about educated urban India, not just people who don't have a choice, but people who could have a choice and still are avoided by the society. People who end up having kids, forget that. Sometimes people end up having a career simply because there's this fear that what will people say if I study fashion designing instead of becoming an engineer, things like that. So, I feel that this is a topic that needs to be discussed. I want you all to come forward and share your stories of a time in your life when everyone expected you to do something, but you said no. I will stand my ground. I will do what works for me. And you actually went ahead, took your own decisions, and it turned out to be a great decision for you. I would love to hear stories like that because why not? For me personally, I think one of those biggest decisions was my YouTube channel. I started my other YouTube channel, the beauty channel that I have, Superwow Style, about 10 years ago. Sometimes I can't believe how long it has been. So when I started my YouTube channel, a lot of people didn't know about YouTube. People hadn't heard about YouTube, right? And I was still studying. I was doing very well in my studies and everything was going well. And then one fine day I said, okay, you know what? I really need to take up YouTube more seriously. So I dropped a couple of courses. I didn't drop everything. I still wanted to continue studying psychology, which I did. But I dropped the rest of the courses which I was studying because I want to focus on my YouTube, and my god, the pressure on me was huge. So many friends, relatives, like people of my age came and told me, Prachi, what are you doing with your life? As I look back, I'm so glad that I didn't give in to the pressure. YouTube has literally transformed my life, changed my life, defined my life, and I am so grateful every single day that I did it, that I took this risk and it worked. It worked out. I mean, it was a risk, no doubt about it, but I did it anyway. So let me know if you have any stories like that to share. I would love to hear from you guys. Now, starting with the first writer of the day, what do we call the, oh my god, where the letters gone? Just give me a second, guys, okay? Alright. By the way, I think I've mentioned this before, right? Whenever I read out these letters, I have actually edited them a little bit. Sometimes these letters are very, very long. Sometimes these letters are written in multiple languages like Hindi and English mixed. And I know a lot of my viewers from South India don't understand Hindi. So I have edited them to make them easier to read and easier to understand, okay? But the exact premise and the story remains exactly the same. That is not changed. Okay, so starting with the first writer of the day. Let's call our first writer of the day Vaseline. There's a Vaseline body lotion right in front of me, so we're gonna call the first writer Vaseline. Okay. Vaseline says, Hi Prachi. I'm about to get married soon, and while everything looks great up front, I am scared to my wits' end. I dated a guy back in my college, but we broke up 2 years ago. He was extremely abusive. However, he never really let go of me and kept threatening that he would not let me marry anyone else, that he could crash my wedding and humiliate me if he needs to. I haven't been in touch with him at all, but he will call me from a new number once every few months. Suddenly, he called me again 2 days back at night, drunk, to say the same things with the same old threats. Except that things are different this time. I'm actually about to get married in 3 months. I have told my fiancé everything and he's very, very understanding. But I cannot even think of letting my but I cannot even think of telling my family because they would probably kill me for having an ex-boyfriend. His family would certainly want to call off the wedding if they got to know. What complicates the matter more is that me and my ex, we do have a few mutual friends. They all agree that he's a total psycho, but nobody can do much, right? I am worried that what if after I tell my friends about the wedding, the news reaches him too, and he actually goes through with the threats. I am in half a mind to not invite any of my friends at all for this reason. But will that solve the problem? What should have been the happiest time of my life is fast turning into a nightmare. Please help. I agree with you, Vaseline. Not inviting your friends might help, but there's no guarantee. Okay, now there are a few things I want to share with you, but before that, just letting you know, a lot of times these are just threats. Okay, it takes a lot of courage to crash your ex-girlfriend's wedding in front of the entire family, everyone else in front of him, and to create that big drama. Okay, that is not to say he will not do it. There's no 100% guarantee, but it's highly unlikely that he will do such a thing. Okay, this is not a Bollywood movie. In reality, people don't have that kind of courage usually. Having said that, we still need to maintain precautions, right? So there are a couple of options I want to share with you. Pick and choose whatever is most practical, whatever is most feasible for you. Number one, I would say that hand out your wedding invitations very, very late. Okay, just 2-3 days before your wedding if possible. And during this time, quite unfortunately, I would have to suggest this: please don't share any social media posts. I know that is robbing you of a very, very special, of a very, very special thing, very, very special time of your life, but your situation is also very special, right? You don't want to let your parents know, your fiance's parents know. Number two, now this is personally my favorite option of all because it pretty much solves your problem. You say that you have mutual friends. Okay, why don't you use this to your advantage? You have told me that you have mutual friends. They think he's psycho. Are these friends on your side 100%? Can you trust them really, really well? Be very careful. Think about it for 100 times before you do it. Okay, but if you're sure that these are people you can trust, you can tell them that, see, I'm getting married on this and this date. Okay, and I want you guys to just take him away on a vacation. Just plan an impromptu vacation with him. Take him away with you so he's not there in the city while I get married. They can probably plan a vacation at a location, at a place where there is low internet connectivity, low phone connectivity. A lot of mountain regions are like that. Okay, so you can probably explore that option as well. If he's out of sight, out of the city, you have nothing to worry about. Of course, your friends will be able to attend your wedding, but the bigger problem is solved, right? This is another option you can definitely try out. Talking about being away in a different city, here's another option. I don't know if it's possible or not. So when I was getting married, for a long time we were debating whether to get married in Kolkata, where my parents are put up, or Delhi, where Gaurav's parents are put up. So we kept discussing that and eventually figured that Kolkata makes more sense, for multiple reasons. If you are having these options as well, maybe you can just select another city and get married in another city. When you decide to get married in a different city, in a different place, what happens is that, number one, it's more difficult for him to do all this drama. Okay, he can't just get drunk on the night of your wedding and be like, okay, you know what, I'm going to do it. No, it takes a lot more planning, and it's highly unlikely that he will actually go to another city to create all the tamasha. Number two, if you are getting married in another city, if he has a bunch of friends, some gunda friends, people, who can actually do antisocial stuff, it's more difficult for him to get the entire gang to the different city just to create all these problems, right? So if you can't send him out of the city, you can probably explore the idea of getting married out of the city. Okay, if possible, again, I'm not sure how practical this is and if it's possible for you guys. If it makes sense, you can move up your wedding date a little bit. Another option you can explore is ask your fiance to maybe take it up with him directly, maybe even get the police involved if required. Another option that you can explore again is maybe you can get your close friends, your cousins, your fiance's cousins to guard the gate. Okay, so if your wedding is at a wedding hall or something, you can just move up and tighten the security a little bit. Let everyone know that this is the guy. Show them a few pictures, tell them what he looks like, what his height is, and all of that. And a few of them can just, hang out at the gate. So maybe one group of cousins can hang out for 1 or 2 hours, and another group of cousins can go and do that for you. So your wedding can actually move on peacefully. Again, I'm not saying that all of these options are necessary and you have to do every single one of them, but pick and choose and see what works best for you. Okay. Moving to the next writer of the day, who we're going to call Nivya. Nivya. The first one was called Vasti, the second one is Nivya. Nivya says, Prachi, when I married my now husband, he was a totally different man. He had a job, a fairly regular social life. However, he got laid off due to COVID. I lost my baby due to pregnancy complications, and then both of his parents passed away. After months of struggling to find a new job, he got into alcohol instead. He doesn't even try to get a job now or get his life back on track. When I ask him, he either just says he's trying or will pick up a fight with me for nagging. He is drinking more than ever, and I can see that if it's not controlled now, he will turn into an addict. I'm at my wit's end on how to handle the situation at home. It is so annoying that I try to work on Sundays or make plans without including him. To just be around him frustrates me. We fight almost every day, and it usually leads leads to me crying and him saying that I better divorce him if I'm so unhappy. Money is not an issue yet since I earn well and we have his family inheritance. But I want my old husband back, the person I could talk to, the person I fell in love with. I cannot see him wasted away like this. Moreover, how can I even get pregnant again in this situation? Please help. Nivea, first of all, I'm so sorry to know that you and your partner, your husband, are going through so much. I think it's also been very, very hard for you because it's much harder for him, right? So, probably throughout this whole time, when you lost your baby, he lost his job, and then his parents, you kept feeling like you have to be strong for him without really addressing your own pain and your own concerns. So maybe there were times when you felt unheard, and now when he needs you more than ever, you're not being able to handle things because it's too hard already, and you're only human. I think you have overburdened yourself with responsibilities, and on one hand, I think it's such a beautiful thing to do that for the person you love. But do you see how that's backfiring? You don't want to spend time with him. You want to work on Sundays. You want to make plans without him. You're always crying. You are in depression as well. It's so nice that even today you're writing this letter asking me to help you help him. But what about you? So, first things first, understand and address that you are in pain as well, and that is only human. You can't solve everything yourself, okay? But the good thing is, both of you are in this journey together, and from the looks of it, you are definitely still so much in love with him, and you believe that he can get back up. I think that's amazing to start with that kind of positivity. Now, what you need to do is take some time off with your husband, and instead of running away from him, instead of running away from a situation which is clearly very overwhelming, calm down, take a breather. How are you going to do that? Go for a vacation. I know this sounds like a very cliched advice, very making things too simple, but sometimes life is really that simple. Okay, so plan a little vacation with your husband to a nice place which is nice and comfortable, nothing like heavy trekking and all. A nice, if you can afford it, then maybe a luxurious resort or something for a couple of days, maybe a week. Take some time off work, take him out with you, and just reconnect with him. Okay, bond with him. There's a reason why this will help both of you. Number one, it will reignite that love. It will help you understand that no matter how difficult life is, when you are in love, when you're with the right person, you are in it together. You can walk this path together and things will be fine. Reassure that to each other. Maybe a little bit more to him because, alcohol is now involved in things like that. But talk to him. Make it positive. Not like, but you have to get a job, but you have to. No, don't remind him of all of that. Okay, he's just in a lot of pain and depression. He doesn't need a reminder right now, especially during this vacation. Okay, so talk about nice things, talk about your good memories, talk about maybe planning for a baby again sometime soon, and things that you're looking forward to in life, positive things. Okay, have lots of nice meals together, relax, enjoy your holiday. When you come back, then sit down and tell him that, see, this last few days have been amazing. Now I want something from you and you cannot say no. He'll be like, what? Tell him that you need to stop drinking so much. I'm not saying stop entirely, but you have to give up alcohol for a few weeks. Okay, completely, because I don't want you to get addicted. I'm genuinely worried. And let him know that this is completely non-negotiable. If he says no, it's just a little bit, say if it's just a little bit, that's fine. But let yourself go off alcohol for a few weeks. I'm not saying leave it entirely. You can do that much for me, right? I'm your wife. I love you. I care about you. And there are things which I'm seeing that's really concerning for me. So do it for me. Okay? And try to convince him to go for therapy. If you think that's going to be very, very hard, why don't you go for therapy yourself first? Start with that. Because I think you could do with a bit of help. Things have been very hard for you already. Go for therapy and maybe get your husband involved. And as he starts getting better, with less drinking, feeling more supported, more loved, more respected, with therapy, hopefully, if he goes for it, he will start feeling more ready to, start with the job hunt again and do the right things in his life. But it has to happen step by step. The first step for his healing and for your healing is to take some time off of responsibilities, of concerns, of worries, and just take a breather. Okay, so start with that. So yes guys, that's all I want to share in today's video. Okay, for my two writers of the day, Vaseline and Nivea. If you have been through something similar, like I always say, or if you have some suggestions for the two writers, please share them with the two writers in the comment section below. And yeah, take care of yourselves, guys. Stay safe and have lots of fun. Life is to enjoy, so have lots of fun. And I'll see you guys again next week on Smile with Prachi. Bye bye.